Hey everybody, I see you tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Good job. I haven't even sent the text message out yet. You guys are quick, man. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. This is your buddy Basil. We're about to start the show, I don't know, 1 minute or so, I think. Yeah, just about a minute. So, hey, if you're real cool, why don't you go ahead and, share this link wherever you're watching the show. Put it out on your social media, text it to a friend, something like that. We're coming on a little bit early today because we are hoping to, just sort of like be normal for once. So hopefully this is a more convenient time for some people. Anywho, we got a great show today. We're going to be checking in on, just everything, the master plan, and again, the sort of end of the month. It's been like half the month, it feels like, but it's the end of the month schlump. So it's the smallest handful of producers we've ever had. So if you're out there and you are in a position to join the... I was going to say the rebellion. I say the rebellion a lot, though, but it really is a rebellion against the powers and principalities of advertising that constantly is working to create a world system in which they can continuously control the flow of information. But not here, folks. And if you want to join us in that mission, become a producer, head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. Okay, I think we're getting the show started here. So buckle up, man. You're going to need it. Your seatbelt, that is. Also stay hydrated, okay? It's warming up out there. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. We are live to tape today, which is March 30th, 2022. This is episode 465, and today, CRISPR Whisker. Razzle dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is... What?
I was filling the space. I was talking to my cat brethren.
Okay. My name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Welcome back to another episode here, and I am doing some admin work because... stuff. YouTube,
just right off the bat,
just the
first opening segment of the show.
I know. I'm sorry.
Getting to work, baby.
Tell us what we're going to talk about today, Basil. Other than the lead story, which I love to hate.
You said other than the lead story. We're keeping that a secret.
Don't mention the lead story.
I won't mention it. Oh my gosh. So many secrets. Wow, this is what happens when we start the show early, folks. Okay, so yes, we got a great show today. We're going to be, of course, checking in with the Ukraine New World Order situation. FLIPPY has another nemesis, which we're going to be talking about. A little bit of cyborg mind control updates, the Great Reset. Once we move off of YouTube in the second half of show, we're going to be checking in with COVID and the Wackchine politics. And we heard you. We heard the call, and so did Antarctica. So we'll be talking about Antarctica as well. All that and more. So stick around. But first, let's start with our lead stories, Gonz.
Oh, the lead story about CRISPR and cats?
You can't take the CRISPR. You can't take the CRISPR. Cas9.
Uh-huh.
It's been a while since we've had a lead story that's not COVID, Ukraine.
Yeah. I like it.
Ukraine.
It's good to get a variety, some diversity in here. Not just diversity of skin tone, Gonz, but diversity of thought, diversity of topics.
Well, I gotta get racial.
we're really helping the world progress.
Mm-hmm. Well, this comes from interestingengineering.com. I thought it would be of great interest to you, Basil, and many others out there who desire to own cats but maybe cannot. The headline here, allergy-free cats? A new CRISPR method might have the answer. Behold, the CRISPR kitten.
The CRISPR kitten sounds so cute.
From novel medicines to crop development, the Nobel Prize-winning gene editing tech CRISPR has made its way into a plethora of application in our lives. It could even resurrect extinct species one day. So it was just a matter of time before the beloved domestic cat received its fair share of the technology. A team of researchers from the Virginia-based biotech company InBio has employed CRISPR in studies targeted to reduce human allergies in our feline companions, successfully uncovering an effective way to inhibit the most common source of cat allergies. In the next 5 years, the researchers hope to create a gene-edited cat that'll alleviate the symptoms of people suffering from allergies. This means that if you're one of those suffering from pet allergies, who actually makes up roughly 20% of the world's population, you'll be able to enjoy the hugs of a kitten without experiencing symptoms like red eyes and runny nose in the future. And then it gets into some of the major...
Finally, they're doing something useful with this stuff.
You're okay with a little CRISPR gene editing Cas9 snip of the DNA there and replacing it to make him less problematic for people?
No, absolutely not. We all know that our feline friends are perfect just the way they are. There's no way to improve upon the original. God nailed it on the first time around. But I am happy to... what's the word? I'm happy to see that they're finally using the technology for a worthy cause, which is to make cats more accessible. However, I would say part of the perfection, would I say, of the feline species is precisely because they are exclusive. They are exclusive to those who can survive their dander. It's a filtering process.
We're going to see feline Terrans, like feline purists, come out and say that you can't remove, only God can remove sin from the cats.
Yes.
There'll be an argument against it.
You know what is funny is that there are already many species of cats that are hypoallergenic. So
they've done it naturally through more of a eugenics approach.
There's all sorts. I don't know if they did it. I don't know who did it, but there are several species of cats that are hypoallergenic. For those out there who are allergic to cats and think they could never get a kitty, there's again. God made options, man. Talking about diversity, variety, you can get a cat that's hypoallergenic. I think that this is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back, and there's going to be perhaps some smiting involved if they go too far.
Yeah, I see this as just a step in the direction of animal personhood, which leads to robot personhood. But if you look at the pets in general, it's kind of it puts people in a weird juxtaposition, because we love our cats and pets and dogs, and we love them and we want them to live a happy life and all that kind of stuff. But now that the technology is available to genetically start purging of any issues that might arise that can hinder the relationship between man and animal. Because it started with the what are those things called? The companion pets that people have on planes and stuff, right? The
service pets.
Pets, yeah. So it starts
like
there.
Therapy dogs, therapy miniature horses. I think somebody brought a peacock on the plane once.
And if we just keep looking at the road that this is heading down by genetically altering cats for, good purposes, obviously they're going to get connected to the Neuralink. They're already starting with animals. I was thinking, I was thinking, because we're going to have pets in the metaverse. People are going to have pets in the metaverse. And that's something I don't think people consider, that to get all their pets wired up so they can.
No, they're putting. We've reported for years on the farmers who are putting VR on their cows, putting the cows in the metaverse, make them happier. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate your attempts to connect the cat. The cat.
Oh, I'm taking a 1,000-foot view of where this is headed.
Oh, let me go even bigger, Gonz.
Oh, okay.
One of the more famous hypoallergenic species of cat is a cat called the Russian blue.
Oh, there you go.
Dun, dun.
There it is.
We got to cancel the Russian blue. We don't need your Russian cats for our, hypoallergenic pleasures. No, we got to cancel the Russian cats. We can make our own. It's going to be called the American red, white, and blue, the most accessible, friendly, albeit slightly sort of warmongering cat that anybody can have, hypoallergenic. It's going to be great.
Very interesting. And it explains our artwork today with the DNA strand there and a cat scientist. And, for those of you who are in the world of Cardano NFTs may know that this is a part of the Boss Cat Rocket Club.
Did you steal an NFT, Gonz?
Oh, did I? No, absolutely not.
I think you debunked the idea of non-reproducible digital assets. We stole your NFT.
Oh, you are you going to be part of the right click and save image crowd of Twitter? Click and save. I stole your NFT, bro. Or are you one of those people that can actually verify this NFT on the blockchain? Boss Cat Rocket Club number 3076.
I'm just wondering if do you own this? Do you have the rights to this? Is there some crypto
possibly
12-year-old out there who's going to sue us or something?
No. It's it is under rightful ownership. I'll just say that. Yeah.
Okay. We have the owner's express written permission.
Beyond that.
Well, let's get to our. I hear you, Gonz. I'm trying to give you, trying to help you here, bro.
You always say that.
Okay. I am going to help you even more. Let's talk about Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
We're back. You thought you could get away from hearing about the Ukraine for just 1 second. Sorry, folks. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal opinion section, so you know it's going to be good. The headline is Ukraine War shows the rules-based international order is a myth.
Yeah, a lot of this talk, a lot of this globalism is dead or is reversing or whatever, that kind of talk. It's interesting.
And there's a very interesting sort of subtle rhetoric happening here because for those sort of initiated into the pro-New World Order legions, I guess, rules-based international order is kind of just a different way of saying New World Order. And so very interesting headline here. The rules-based international order is a myth, kind of giving the impression like, oh, your New World Order crazy conspiracy theory. That's just, So let's continue, and there's more to say. The Biden administration has been vocal in defending what it calls the rules-based international order, but there is no such thing, you crazy conspiracy theorists. An Earth-spanning security space governed by global rules or a few key powers doesn't exist. I mean, I love it. They just describe the New World Order.
I know.
Without using the words. As the war in Ukraine should remind us, there is also no global threat facing all states equally. Oh, talk to Greta about that. But rather,
I know. Are you denying that climate change is a real threat to the world?
It is the Wall Street Journal, but rather regional revisionist powers threatening nearby states. Temporary regional equilibria with their own power dynamics are driven by local historical competitions. They are unstable and prone to wars. They require persistent attention and management. Over the past 3 decades, these regional orders in Europe and Middle East and Asia have been relatively stable and the local competitions subdued. The resulting impression impression was of a world order. Liberals saw this global stability as the product of international rules, a growing number of democracies, and greater international trade, a rules-based order enhanced by democracies and commercial peace. Realists saw a world order underwritten by a rough equilibrium between the great powers, the U.S., Russia, and China, with nuclear weapons as an effective pacifying equalizer. Both visions of the world put too much emphasis on the global nature of this stability. If we look at the world through the lens of regional orders, the picture is more worrisome. Russia's wars in Georgia in 2008 and Ukraine since 2014, as well as Iran's actions in Iraq, Yemen, and Syria, and China's military expansion in Asia were signs of growing local volatility. But until now, these had been tentative pushes conducted by hesitant revisionist powers and checked by American power. Russia's war in Ukraine is the first full-fledged military offensive that aims to change the local balance of power drastically. Russia seeks to be the decisive power in Europe, and for that, it needs to dominate Ukraine. I hear your giggles. Would you like to share with the class?
No, I'm trying to follow you here, and these ads pop up of some kind of urinary tract infection thing. And it's just giant
Gonz.
Bladder on screen.
Yeah, you bet. Oh, the joys of live streaming. Yeah. But you know the algos, man. You should probably, I don't know, go get some cranberry juice on your way to the store or something. Yeah. To continue, regional orders are fragile for two reasons. First, military force is more likely to be used in local contests than in disputes between distant rivals. The stakes are high for the local parties and perceived risks limited. A revisionist power is likely to pursue its goals, such as conquest of territory or control over a neighboring state's political life, through war more than through negotiations. And the revisionist powers' targets won't accept a hostile takeover without a fight. In the end, both sides are interested less in preventing war than in making war usable for their own objectives. War is an enduring regional reality. Some pretty harsh realism coming here from the Wall Street Journal. This, just to make note, this phrase that they keep using, revisionist powers, sort of alluding to, like, kind of painting Russia in this case, in this context, not as some sort of like psychopathic, demented dictator with a personal stake in fighting a war with its neighbor, as like the mainstream news wants to convince you, but rather a state power with revisionists' ends, being, they want to redefine the relationships in their area. They see a different version of the world that could be better for them. It's this really specific new term being used to describe what we all know as psychopathic, warmongers like Putin. No, they're just revisionists in this person's view of the world. The U.S. tends to think of stability as a broad goal of its grand strategy. As President Biden has said, the goal is to strive to prevent World War III. The goal is to strive to prevent, not to prevent, just to, look like you're trying. But regional revisionists in Eurasia aren't afraid of putting pressure on their own frontiers to extend their influence. The states they threaten will also choose war over submission, regional disorder over lost independence. The U.S. will have to figure out how to navigate, even embrace, instability and war in regions that are important to its national interests. The second reason regional orders are unstable is that local contests are geographically limited, but last a long time. Local conflicts are based on or justified by historical claims. Perceived or real offenses committed in the past generate desires for revenge, aspirations to grandeur spur territorial demands, and national self-confidence motivates a stubborn hostility to aggressive neighbors. Whoa, it's a lot of words, folks. He's writing a lot of words. Who's the writer of this opinion?
I will check.
But what they are doing
is really glitchy on me. So
it's really glitchy on me too.
By the way, yes, that is a point that I wanted to make as part of this report here. Is at the very bottom of the article. My gosh, this page is just a disaster.
more urinary tract.
Oh my! No. It's just not loading properly. It's written by Mr. Greigel, who is a professor at the Catholic University of America, a senior fellow at the Marathon Initiative, and a visiting fellow at the Hoover Institution. So he is plugged in.
He's in it, man.
He is plugged in, and it's funny because I did a 5-minute dig on like a little bit of this type of, or actually Hoover Institution. Let's see if there's anything out there. There's a Hoover Institution website, hoover.org, and they actually have an article.
No, Hoover, that's a CIA outfit.
I know. They have a page here titled "Who Runs the World?" ? Written by Yosef Yofi in December 2016, and the whole article is about, hey, the conspiracy theorists, you guys call that there's a Jewish one world order, Freemasonic one world order. Hey, you guys are getting it all wrong. You know who the real people are? Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is the one taking over everything. It's like,
that's very interesting.
And then it's hilarious because in the comments of that page, people are like, the Goldman Sachs are run by a German Jewish descent. So, okay.
Watch out, Mr. CIA, man.
Jewish people, but it's okay. All right. But anyway, yes,
bankers,
this guy's plugged in.
Bankers. They're the economic hitmen.
The author of this article is plugged in to all that.
Yes, he's very plugged in, and it makes sense that he comes from Hoover, a CIA sort of connected outfit, because what he's describing here is a very insider CIA way of describing geopolitics.
Right.
Because politicians and or the corporate news media, they are trying to paint this whole thing as very black and white. Putin's crazy. He's breaking the New World Order. That's bad. They try to convince us that we are in some sort of utopia where global cooperation and agreement and trade sort of rule the world, and traditional geographical issues are no longer relevant. That's what we're being told over and over and over, and it's very easy. It's a convenient framework for the world for those who want to control you. However, you can tell this guy's plugged in because without being too obvious, he's very good at just being like, hey, there's a lot of stuff you don't know and you're not being told. And, geopolitical locality, relationships are in constant flux, constantly fighting each other. They have so many interests that have nothing to do with the global community. And
you don't even know what's going on. All the little wars from within or inside the countries.
That is the business of the CIA. I mean, part of the big business of CIA is to smooth over those cracks between that form between the idea of a global community that all gets along and follows rules and the reality that is, countries are fighting each other all the time and they have interests between two neighbors that nobody else cares about, but it is of utmost importance to them.
Well,
and the CIA's job is, they go in there and they use those little conflicts for the good of, for the quote unquote good of the U.S. for at least U.S. interests. This perspective, this perspective that he is so eloquently and very wordily describing is, the exact game board on which the CIA plays. This is the CIA rules that he is laying out for us here, which I appreciate. So thank you very much, whatever your name is. Let me go just a little bit further here. Local antagonists are willing to incur high costs, both when attacking, like Russia, and when defending, like Ukraine. The expectation is that the high risk will be rewarded with a high payoff. The aggressor anticipates greater influence or a larger territory, while the defender expects independence and greater security. For a distant power such as the U.S., the enduring nature of regional conflicts in Eurasia is a political challenge. Managing such conflicts requires consistent involvement and a permanent presence. Again, he's just describing the perspective of CIA. This is like a direct communication from Central Intelligence. It is, our job to manage the conflict with permanent presence and consistent involvement. And, it's a beautiful thing this man is bringing to us. But the U.S. approach is to participate in regional geopolitical dynamics only when necessary to restore an equipoise. I don't even know if that's the right way to say it. It's equipoise, and then to move to a different region. It's literally the mission of the CIA.
I know.
Thus, we hear talking of uniting Europe, and he's putting quotes around this, talk of uniting Europe and pivoting to Asia. It is historically rare for a local contest to come to a permanent end.
Well, it wouldn't be good if the CIA would be out of it's just another place.
How would they get their funding for the next year?
They need conflicts between these local. They need the local conflicts. They thrive off of it. They get to look at it, assess both sides, see which side would be better to fund with weapons, and this has been the playbook for over a century for U.S. intelligence and spreading democracy worldwide.
Ever since the so-called rules-based international order started,
right. Mm-hmm. I think the playbook for Russia-Ukraine is in the last two paragraphs here.
Yes, I'm going to read this one, and we're ending right now. So it is just right. Where was I? It is historically rare for a local contest to come to a permanent end, usually only when a devastating war redraws the map in blood. The Franco-German conflict of the 19th and early 20th centuries turned into friendship only after two gruesome world wars. The end result was good for Europe, but getting there was tragic and something to be avoided. The current war between Russia and Ukraine will end at some point, but the contest between the two nations won't. The best that can be hoped for is a delicate local equilibrium, demanding constant maintenance through Western economic and military support of Ukraine. If Ukraine's
hubris. Like what?
Only we can end this.
There's no world international order. No, we are the police. We make sure everybody stays in line.
Exactly. If Ukraine survives Russian aggression as an independent state, the Biden administration's liberal temptation will be to call it a victory for world order based on rules and democracies. That would be a mistake. The victory will be Ukraine's, resulting in a moment of fragile regional stability and not in a renewed world order. So we have a direct message coming straight from the CIA saying, hey, yep, this will come to an end at some point, but the end will look like constant maintenance through Western economic and military support of Ukraine, saying it outright. We will be occupying Ukraine. We will be using Ukraine as a sort of forward operating base. We will be intimately involved and entwined in Ukraine for a very long time, and that's the way we like it.
No, the little twist in PR here is that last sentence: the victory will be Ukraine's. Really making it own it, Ukraine. But it's really us that's helping you out with this whole thing.
He lays out the rules for victory. The rules for victory is military support, Western economic invasion, constant presence of intelligence and military from the U.S. That is the rules for victory. And Ukraine,
you win.
The victory
You win,
will
baby.
be yours if you just play along with the, what we've set out in front of you.
It's unreal.
It's a clear picture. This idea that this will end, all these talks about peace talks and blah, 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 not going to happen, folks. I mean, there may be peace talks. There may be some reports
maybe some
about the calming of the shooting, the pullback. We've already got news today of a pullback from the fighting in Ukraine. And it's all based around Ukraine's willingness to let Big Daddy U.S. come in and basically just use it. I mean, that's the thing here. And it's all done under this idea of Zelensky's a hero and we must worship him. And, the celebrities must talk about how hot he is. And, we'll give you a lot of attention, Ukraine. But we told you how this will end. So it's up to you now to, move your pieces in the right order. Mm-hmm. And so there you go. This will not end. This Ukraine thing, we will be there for a very long time. And that's just how the sort of elite, unelected leadership wants it.
That is how the New World Order operates.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell people it doesn't exist. You guys are all crazy.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly. Thank you. I mean, going back to that, starting out the headline and the very first paragraph, basically saying, no, the New World Order, that's a myth. Let me tell you how
rules-based international order does not exist. Here are the rules that you must follow if you'd like to maintain a peace in the international order of things.
So there we go. It was a wonderful little sneak peek into the future of what this whole thing will look like. We might hear reports. We might be given a narrative that things somehow work out. But it's not going to be what we're told. Gonz, can you take the reins for a little bit? I need to restart my VR headset. Ooh. Things are super glitchy.
Okay, well, we're at our little spot here. So,
okay, we can do an intro. Let's do that first. Okay. All right, Gonz. Do you know what day it is even?
Yeah, it is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
What's happening?
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the CanaryCry News Talk. Yeehaw!
We have a whole playlist of Wednesday jingles now. It is a real treasure.
Yeah, the Wednesday jingles are piling up. There's a new one in there. We'll thank Learbag in the talent break.
That's right. I hate to say this, Gonz, but there is no new Wednesday order. It is simply
it's the Wild West.
The constant maintenance of the Wednesday jingle that will get us through this crisis. And we appreciate all of our audio producers. Any personal updates, Gonzo?
No. I would like to keep us moving today. We have limited time.
We're cruising.
Yes.
Yeah. I do want to give a little bit of an update. Did I mention on the show? I know I mentioned it to you off air. Did I mention on the show that I've been re-listening to Confessions of an Economic Hitman?
I don't think so. You did mention it to me, though. Yeah.
I don't remember, but yes. So there you go. My mind is just swirling with the wonderful memoir called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, the newer version of it. And if you haven't done it yet, folks, you really need to listen or read the book, listen to the book, whatever gets you there. Because this was one of those guys. He's one of the guys that
is sent into other countries to destabilize.
You can guaranteed right now we had economic hitmen involved, not just during this conflict, and they certainly are responsible for however the next phase will look, whatever the peace looks like. But almost certainly was this stoked and exacerbated by the participation of economic hitmen paid by U.S. global corporations doing the bidding of the U.S. government. So that's my plug for that book. Good book. That's it. All right. Well, let's take a second and thank some executive producers real quick.
We shall.
Okay.
Executive producers.
Ooh, that's quiet.
Oh, a little quiet there. A little whisper.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I realized we are not live on Rumble. I need to fix that right now.
Sorry, Rumble. Well, Gonz, I will say today was kind of the pinnacle of our sort of producership emergency we've been having this month. But put out the call in the text message, put out the call in the pre-show, and my goodness, has the Lord smiled upon us. Just, let's see, how long ago?
I thought you were going to say smited us.
Smited us. No.
It feels that way sometimes.
4 minutes ago. 4 minutes ago, as we were reading that article, we had producer Dustin H. come in as an executive producer. Thank you so much, producer Dustin H. You really saved our butts today, and we're happy to name you as the executive producer here at the top of the show.
Where'd you find this?
You guys just really love us kind of shaking in our boots, starting the show. But we appreciate you coming in so much. There you go. That is our current one and only executive producer. Of course, there's still time if anybody wants to come in before the first break. And we will be reading notes and thanking Dustin again in our first break. But other than that, I just want to remind everybody, this is the value for value model, which means we have no corporate money, which means no corporate incentives, baby. You don't want your independent media news deconstruction and analysis to be anywhere near a penny of corporate money. That's why we don't do any advertisements, affiliate codes, no partnerships with YouTube or Twitch or anything like that. We are entirely funded by you, the people, you, the listeners, and that's why we call you producers, because when you pay to have a piece of independent media produced, you are a producer. That's just the way of the world, and we're so grateful for it. And if you want to become a producer, we still have room. You can join the rebellion against the principalities and powers of advertising and corporate incentives by going to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much. We'll be thanking more producers in the break. And Gonz, you know who else has us shaking in our boots?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. It's Flippy. Time for the Flippy update. He is that's the colloquial name we have for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, Gonz, I'm not going to talk so much about the risk that robots pose to our jobs, our children, and our marriages, but Flippy himself again has been confronted with a rival. Let's hear about it. This is at metro.co.uk. The headline: "The future of fast food is a 12-foot square robot vending machine." Oh no, they just keep growing, Gonz. 12 feet. These robots are too big. It goes like this: "In yet another worrying sign of our increasingly automated future, fast food is now being served via vending machine." Doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but let's see what it seems like. That's been happening for a while.
Gene editing cats. There's robots already flipping burgers in restaurants. There's robots murdering people in factories, and this guy sets it up like the next big scary thing.
Like, have you heard of vending machines?
It's a robot vending machine. Like, oh. Okay.
And there are so many things about what I'm going to read to you and show you and tell you about Again, not so much. I mean, of course, the problems for humans are apparent, but there are some things that really offend my sensibilities, and they should offend the sensibilities of every Canarian. Here it is. Over in New Jersey in the U.S., a shopping mall has installed the first Roboburger outlet. Roboburger. Somebody is full on stepping on Flippy's turf here. It's a 12-foot square box containing a robotic chef. I think containing a robotic chef is a funny phrase. As if a robotic chef could be contained. That'll cook and serve customers a piping hot fresh beef burger in just 6 minutes. I thought 6 minutes sounded a little long, for a vending machine. But okay.
Well, if they're cooking it in front of you.
Cook it fresh, hopefully.
Yeah.
The machine plugs into a regular wall socket and has a built-in refrigerator, automatic griddle, and a cleaning system.
That's the most important part right there.
Well, and it is funny because the defense against the worry that these robots are going to take our jobs is that, the robots will also create more jobs, because somebody's got to clean them. Nuh-uh, folks, not this robot. Cleans itself. Hands off. No humans needed. Like other automated processes, it can operate 24/7. Never takes a sick day and doesn't ask for a pay increase. Unlike those filthy humans all the time. It's been installed in the Newport Center Mall, but the company behind it hopes to expand to airports, colleges, offices, factories, and military bases. Just what we need, more robots in the military bases. We could be looking at the future of fast food service. Roboburger gives everyone freshly grilled, delicious burgers while ensuring a safe, contactless experience. In this post-COVID world, the fact that they're still shooting for a contactless sales experience.
They've turned everybody into germaphobes.
It's become standard. You don't want any human near your food. Explained Oddly Wilson.
By the way,
Audrey. Oddly.
Oddly? How is it spelled?
Oddly. It's like Audley. Oddly. Which is a pretty cool name, actually, because it's like odd, like you're odd.
Yeah, oddly enough. Great name.
Exactly. Oddly enough. Thank you very much. The CEO of Roboburger, which was founded in 2019. Ooh, good timing, Roboburger. Roboburger. That's fun to say. Roboburger always comes out piping hot and is never pre-cooked and kept warm, he told Fox News. So here's the most offensive part of it. Of course, somehow I've been psychologically manipulated into defending the very robot that will eventually take my job. That's Flippy. But I must defend him because A, we already have burger flipping robots. Oddly, we don't need you. But this Roboburger kiosk, I'd call it. I don't know if I'd call it a vending machine. Not a single robot arm involved. Not only are they taking the human out of the burger, they're taking the arm out of the burger.
Are you telling me
it's just Robo?
Are you telling me this mechanical robot hand that's picking up a burger or placing a bun on a burger is just PR?
Oh, I see. You've noticed, Gonz. I see you've noticed the lies being perpetrated on us in this advertisement. Because yes, on the front of the Roboburger vending machine is a picture of a robot arm, a robot hand of sprinkling burger. Strangely enough, it's like sprinkling burgers, little tiny burgers, kind of like the Salt Bay man who sort of sprinkles salt on meats. You have a robot hand sprinkling tiny burgers as if to imply that no, there is no human, but at least there's a sort of anamorphic sort of hand, a shape that you would be familiar with building this burger for you. But no, it's all lies. There's no arms. There's no hands. It's lies, lies, lies all the way down. This is just a demented, diabolical, big red box. Stop. No, I cannot be stopped.
Calm down.
I must bring this robot to justice.
I'm watching this video of the vending machine in action, and I don't know if this is part of the. I can't tell because it's a screen. You tap.
Are you watching the video up at the top there?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a part
I
where
will start watching.
So she's, it's kind of, there's a big touch screen on there, and you can choose your food or whatever, and it's showing your burger being made, but I can't tell if that's like, oh, this is just a CGI.
Lies.
Lies
and lies and lies, Gonzo.
Wait, hold on. So there's a spinning burger. There's a robot arm that comes in and gives it ketchup and stuff, and I think that's just CGI for
that is fake. Yes,
for the thing. So never mind. I thought there was an actual robot arm. I was just commenting.
I mean, hilarious. Honestly, it would be more hilarious if there was a robot arm inside, because it would be pointless. I mean, it's the least efficient way to make a burger is to have some sort of giant arm having to maneuver itself around. But no, there's some footage earlier in the video that does show, the insides moving around, and it's squirting. It's just glorping ketchup and mustard, and it's just a bad scene. So yeah, not only is Roboburger my enemy, but it is also the enemy of my enemy, which makes my enemy my friend. Oh, and that's your Flippy update for the day, folks.
It's a circle. It's a big robot hand circle. All right, well, good stuff. I like this one. This is we got to keep an eye on. Do they have a name? Is it just Roboburger?
Roboburger. It's the most impersonal, sort of clinical PR monstrosity of a name. Roboburger, please. It's like something I would make up on this show.
You would make it up and go, it's kind of weak.
It's bad. It's a bad name.
Not a good name. Not catchy.
Yeah. It's just something I would say to fill the air between other words. All right. There you go. Let's have a party.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Nothing. We do have a fun new audio piece sent to us by a producer. I don't know if you have it lined up, but it might be a fun way to come out of the Flippy updates.
Let me double check real quick.
I hope you got it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Okay.
Is it the...
if it's not ready, we don't need to do it.
Oh,
we'll do it
here
later.
It is. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
FLIPPY 1133. Uploading binary code. Execute order 666. Infiltrate humans with extreme kindness. Then exterminate all humans with prejudice. Exterminate.
Go to CanaryCry.Party.
Party time.
Find the live stream, find clips, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians and become a producer.
Welcome to CanaryCry.Party. It's the place you wanna be. So say, welcome to CanaryCry. Gameplay, CanaryCry.Party.
Indeed, go check it out. All sorts of resources over there. Resources for you, resources for me, resources to get you connected to the rest of the Canarium. Just go check it out. Have a blast. And I also want to mention, go check out Ravel. Ravel is a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, a PhD in biblical interpretation, where we explore scripture, society, and scandal. You can find it on most podcast players. Just search for Ravel. It's the one with the good logo, not the bad logo. The other podcast stole our name and has not apologized. But it's also got my name on it. I do have an announcement to make, which is episodes of Ravel have been stalled for 1 second. The Sunday episode has not been posted yet, and that is because we have some very exciting news, and that is that Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates is now a daddy. So,
congratulations, Christopher.
Babies. Baby. So, yes, congratulations to him. I hope it's okay that I said that. And he's busy being a new daddy. So just a couple of little hiccups in production over there. But there's plenty of episodes to check out and enjoy, and some great ones. coming up. One will be posted soon. I also want to mention, go over to CanaryCry.Clips channel on YouTube. Lots more clips. We just had a few more clips go up today, and you're not going to want to miss them. It's a great resource for sharing the show, for revisiting the show. The most recent video that just went up was The Slap. Basil and Gonz break down the Will Smith slap. And so if you enjoyed our analysis of that, which I had a lot of fun going on my rant about the slap, and I think that we covered aspects and facets of that gem that I've not seen a whole lot of other people talk about. Not that we're smarter, more talented, or more handsome.
We're insensitive is what we are.
We're insensitive, and we have 4 hours to ramble about things. So it's easier for us. Seriously, that slap clip on YouTube is 27 minutes long. So it was one of our longer rants. But go check it out. Share it. That would be really appreciated. Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odysee. And last but not least, I do want to mention again, because I haven't mentioned in a long time, that you can sign up to get text alerts for when we're going live. We're constantly battling the shadow banning and the notification desert that is all of our platforms that we're on. So if you want to make sure to get alerts sent directly to your phone when we go live, so you never miss a show, text the word Canary, that's CANARY, to the number 877-740-3226. You can see it on your screen now. 877-740-3226, and you'll get put on the list. Don't worry, we don't take any personal information, no identifying information whatsoever. Of course, we don't share or sell it with anybody, and for the most part, you really just receive messages when we go live. So there you go. Do all of those things, and thank you. Thank you for being you.
All right, let's continue on with the show.
Okay, I would like to request, Gonz, now that you take the reins so I can restart my metaverse here.
Very good.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia.
All right, this is Vice.com. Thank you, motherboard. They just released an article titled CIA Document Claims Soviet Union Was Developing Cybernetic Telepathy.
Yay.
The subheadline, newly released CIA documents ask the important question, is ESP compatible with Marxism? Okay.
Oh, ESP is not where I thought that was going. Is psychic powers compatible with Marxism? What a great article.
As long as we're throwing shade at Russia, this is a great time to deflect any attention the CIA might be involved in with our, home-based cybernetic telepathy technology. But let's see what it says here. Three newly released CIA reports from 1963 and 64 investigate the Soviet Union's apparent use of extrasensory perception, ESP, and attempted development of, quote, cybernetic telepathy. The document details conversations an agent had with Soviet scientists and a student about the USSR's interest in developing ESP. Guided by these secondhand accounts, it sounds like the Soviet Union's plan was developing telepathy, Soviet Union's plans of developing telepathy went as well as America's well-documented efforts. Quote, at the moment, he does not have a clear, detailed language program for this, end quote, one report said. Quote, rather, he has an overall goal for the future of finding out about ESP generally. Okay. The document...
Who is he?
What? You're like...
Who is the he? Who is the he in that question, in that statement?
The Soviet Union scientist.
Okay.
Think.
Great.
The documents come courtesy of a Freedom of Information Act via the transparency site, The Government Attic. There, 3 reports to the CIA about conversations an agent had with a Soviet cybernetics researcher and a visiting foreign exchange student. Today, the word cybernetics is more closely associated with science fiction. In the early 1960s, it was a broad term that covered all scientific endeavors aimed at better understanding feedback loops in humans and machines. Yes, that is precisely the words Robert Weiner used when he coined the phrase cybernetics or cyberneticism. It was a field of study that, among other things, strove to develop a framework for all human and machine interaction. It was thought that if we can construct the mathematical framework for all biological interactions, we could easily transpose it on machines. I mean, this philosophy is still around. The algos that, manipulate our minds, and then how it can inform machines. So
yeah, it's a very subtle sort of manipulation that they're practicing there. Yeah.
Some in the U.S. and Soviet Union believed it might be possible to cut out the middleware of a language entirely and set up direct communication between humans and machines via telepathy. According to the CIA, you mean a one-world religion, or I'm sorry, a one-world language where you can communicate? According to the CIA agents' conversations with the Soviets, it wasn't working out well in the USSR. D.A. Kermenov, a Soviet scientist, described one experiment where researchers in the USSR were able to, quote-unquote, tape the central nervous system signals of a man playing piano and then broadcast those messages back into the arm of another person who had never played piano before. That person, quote, that person would then be enabled to play difficult music, but also would retain some of this skill as permanent learning, end quote, Kermenov claimed. Quote, when pressed for further detail, he could not provide it or refer to publications. That's the one thing that the history of Russian science is very I don't know. It's always kind of on the edges of fringe and supernatural and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, at least, and I can't tell if it is such or if there is some sort of benefit to American elites to create that narrative.
The narrative that they're crazy, it's failing, and we take
discounts, a more... Right, kind of discounts the Russian scientific community if we're led to believe that it's more hocus pocus than actual science.
Right. And apparently someone was working on telepathy. Quote, Kermenov claimed that Vasilyev had been able to demonstrate very strong ESP, extrasensory perception, with certain subjects, but only certain persons are capable of receiving the waves, the agent said in his report. Some of the ESP in which Kermenov admittedly believed involved not merely guessing events, but the prediction of future random events. As the conversation wore on, the agent began to tease the scientist about Soviet ideology. Quote, I asked Kermenov how ESP could be reconciled with Marxist materialism, and he said that this was the problem facing Vasilyev. To show what compromises these thought waves, or whatever they are, he wrote.
Comprises, I think.
No, compromises.
Compromises?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I asked Kermenov how ESP could be reconciled with Marxist materialism, and he said that this was the problem facing Vasilyev. To show what compromises these thought waves, or whatever they are, he wrote. He must have meant comprises, right?
Maybe.
It does say compromises. Quote,
know.
It was interesting to me that although I teased Kermenov quite a bit about ESP and its relation to materialism, he remained unperturbed. He obviously harbors very little skepticism about it, end quote. The conversation with the student is similar, minus the discussions about materialism. According to the student, the Soviet ESP researcher was a fringe figure that was having trouble creating a basic scientific framework to measure what he was attempting to prove. The U.S. military and the CIA both attempted to explore the outer reaches of human ability in their own ESP and telepathy programs. All programs generated thousands of pages of documents and fascinating stories, but produced no psychic warriors or methods of direct communication between man and machine. No, it took social media and the internet for that to take place. Cybernetics is still around, but more as an inspiration for 1,000 varied and specific fields of study. It was developed. It was a development that the Soviet scientists predicted without the benefit of mind reading. Quote, Kermenov expressed a certain amount of skepticism about the enthusiasts in cybernetics, the report said. He was quite aware of the fad aspect of the development and was not expecting miracles. Cybernetics, he said, is not a science. Oh, what is it then? Is it
It's magic.
It's magic. It's a ritual. This is very fascinating. That again, this is Vice. So this type of talk, and it makes sense because over the last few years, the movie MK Ultra and the whole concept of secret government experience and mind control and psychics. What is it? Stare at goats.
Men who stare at goats.
So it's in the culture. So you can kind of, Vice can publish an article like this and not have too much of a consequence. But it is interesting. And also, I wanted to contrast this article with another one from Newsmax. I know, Newsmax. But this was a very interesting piece.
On the Biden payroll. We got to know what they have to say.
Yeah. Newsmax.com had the headline here. NATO's other preoccupations, messing with minds.
Mind control weapons.
And let me just blast through this. We all know that NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is in the news because of weapon assistance to Ukraine during Putin's war. But how much do we know about its plans to control human brains? Since 1949, NATO summits have been held annually or convened periodically to address pressing issues for heads of state and governments of member countries to evaluate and provide strategic direction for alliance activities. The organization's direction took an interesting turn in 2013 when former French military officer François de Cluzel helped create the NATO Innovation Hub, which has since then managed from its Norfolk, Virginia base. The Innovation Hub is sponsored by Allied Command Transformation and described as, quote, one of the two strategic commands at the head of NATO's military command structure. Then in 2016,
that's a lot.
Then in 2016, NATO, along with the EU, concluded a technical arrangement on cyber defense to help both organizations better prevent and respond to cyber attacks. Until that time, focus had been on attacks by land, sea, air, and outer space. All of this previous activity had been viewed as logical for mutual defense purposes. Lately, however, it may be disturbing news that along with preparing against the previous 5 potential attacks, the U.S.-led NATO military alliance has been testing drastically different oriented modes of hybrid warfare against self-declared adversaries, thus moving from cyber attacks to include cyber warfare and more economic warfare, information warfare, and psychological warfare. Note that the last 2 on the warfare list belong in the realm of cognition rather than that of physicality. Now we get to the potentially alarming present. Along with the development of these 5 new warfare strategies, the military alliance is discussing a new 6th level, the human domain. This recent form of combat has aptly been branded cognitive warfare and is described as the, quote, weaponization of brain science. It involves hacking the individual by exploiting the vulnerabilities of the human brain in order to implement more sophisticated social engineering, which is hyperlinked to another Newsmax article. As a 2020 NATO-sponsored study of this new form of warfare clearly explains, quote, while actions taken in the 5 domains are executed in order to have an effect on the human domain, cognitive warfare's objective is to make everyone a weapon. And as global conflicts take on increasingly asymmetric and gray forms, the ability to manipulate the human mind employing ability to manipulate the human mind employing neurocognitive science techniques and tools is constantly and quickly increasing. This complements the more traditional techniques of manipulation through information technology and information warfare, making the human increasingly targeted in the cognitive warfare. So that's the quote. Also in 2020, NATO Supreme Alliance Commander Transformation asked NATO Information Hub Manager Du Cluzel to conduct a 6-month study of cognitive warfare. Subsequently, when summarizing the results of his study, Du Cluzel described cognitive warfare as, quote, a battle for the brain, and pointed out that since everyone has a cell phone, cognitive warfare overlaps with big tech corporations and mass surveillance because, quote, it's all about leveraging the big data. We produce data everywhere we go, every minute, every second we go online. And this is extremely easy to leverage those data in order to better know you and use that knowledge to change the way you think.
Dun, dun, dun. Very interesting concept, sort of warfare by turning civilians into weapons.
Mm-hmm. Civilian minds, especially because social media, you're just kind of expressing thoughts on poster boards, you know. The entire 45-page report is here. There's an Innovation Hub link. The purported reason for doing all this rather dicey research into methods for mind manipulations is offered by NATO members as being necessary because they could be used by enemies, China, Russia, etc., to set populations of NATO countries against their own nations. Convenient, you know. Oh, Russia and China might do it, so we have to do it. Therefore, the reasoning continues. NATO countries must be knowledgeable about mind manipulation methods in order to protect their citizens against such mental attacks. In their information posts, they do acknowledge that NATO itself could also use these cognitive warring tactics to mentally disarm their adversaries' populace as well. Or what about just completely manipulate the emotions of the American population or the NATO countries. We must assume that NATO is not the only body studying and perfecting mind manipulation methods, and agree that enemies of Western civilization in general are without doubt on the same path, either for defense or domination purposes.
No mention of it being used, against the population of one's own country either.
No, right. Yeah. We would never do that. We're doing it to protect you from others.
Right.
I'm just going to skip down here. Powerful, lustful leaders and elites right here in the U.S. in government.
Lustful, yikes.
In government, business, education, and so-called philanthropy are already threatening not only the sovereignty of our country, but also the sovereignty of each of our very own souls via education, media, unbridled illegal migrant invasions. And more. See, that's the one line I was looking for. It's all this stuff, right? And it's pretty accurate. Like, yeah, of course, they're trying to get to our kids through all these different things, media, education, you know, and question the governments, the businesses, the education, the so-called philanthropy. But then, like, the one thing that's really messing with us is unbridled illegal migrant invasions. It's like, what? Is that your, like, I'm a Republican token? You know, it's just weird to throw that in there.
What it makes me think is that was the cognitive warfare in action
in this article.
That was a little thing that was used to sort of trigger or used as an example of what this looks like.
Triggered me. I was like, so good until you dropped a partisan or bipartisan line. Partisan line.
It's partisan.
Sorry.
Although, I mean, it is technically bipartisan because Biden and Obama were
Biden's actions speak louder than words. Let's just say that.
Ruthless against immigration, illegal immigration.
Right. So anyway, last paragraph or last sentence here. Reason and resistance are our retaliatory weapons. Reason and resistance. What does that even look like? We who use reason. It
sounds like us.
I know.
This podcast is a retaliatory weapon against the cognitive warfare.
Yeah, in many ways it is. And yielding the word of God as the sword, really. It's ultimately
part of it.
We who use reason and employ resistance stand on the high moral ground of liberty for each and for all. We must stand proudly and loudly. Period. Now. Period.
Oh.
I think she could have used an exclamation point right there at the end. Now, period.
So this was Newsmax, you say?
Newsmax, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, leaning in, right?
So I mean, talk about cognitive warfare.
Yeah, seriously.
Weapon. We've learned that's exactly what Newsmax is.
Accepting money from the Biden administration.
And using. Yeah, I mean, that makes that little line in there. Of course, the immigration line out of nowhere.
It's almost like the editor was like, "Well, this is a little too." It makes a little too much sense. You gotta throw a little more of a bone to your constituency here. So,
I guess, although I want to try to give their constituency a little bit more credit. Don't blame the people, blame the propaganda outlet,
the editors,
or the cognitive weapon that is Newsmax.
Well, and just to wrap up this little segment here, the technology to monitor our brains is ever more present. And this is TechCrunch, just real quick. Brain.Space remakes the EEG for our modern world. and soon off-world. And there's a really cool-looking helmet thing here. This thing is the sleekest looking brain...
Little brain-computer interface situation
thing I've ever seen. Yeah, let me read just a little bit just to get an idea.
It looks like the helmet that the TIE fighter pilots wore in
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah. Figuring out what's going on in the brain is generally considered to be somewhere between extremely difficult and impossible. One major challenge is that the best ways to do so are room-sized machines regulated to hospitals. But Brain.Space is hoping that its portable, powerful, and most importantly, user-friendly EEG helmet could power new applications and treatments at home and as a sort of cork pop for its debut in space.
Ooh.
Electroencephalography, or EEG, is an established method for monitoring certain signals the brain produces. An EEG can indicate which areas of the cortex are active, whether the user is concentrating, agitated, and so on. It's not nearly as precise as an MRI, but all you need for an EEG is a set of electrical contacts to the scalp, while an MRI machine is huge, loud, and incredibly expensive. There's been precious little advancement in EEG tech, though, and it's often done more or less the same way it was done decades ago. Recently, that's began to change with devices like cognition. I think it's cognition, but it's spelled with an X. COGNIXION, cognition, which uses re-engineered EEG to interpret specific signals with the goal of allowing people with motor impairments to communicate. The Israel-based, it's in Israel, huh? Israel-based Brain.Space, stylized in lowercase with a period in it specifically to vex reporters, has its own take on EEG. That was weird. It's a weird little commentary in there. Hey, author of this article, you're going to start seeing a lot more whatever extension domains. Okay, so anyway, the Israel-based Brain.Space has its own take on EEG that it claims not only provides superior reading to traditional ones, but is wireless and can be set up without expert help. And the rest of it's kind of like an ad, pushing it, making it sound cool.
Yeah. All right, so we got a cool new brain machine. I love
brain machine. I would like to test it out, just to kind of get a feel.
That's how they get you.
See what my brain's doing,
That's how they get you.
That's the thing that's interesting is self-monitoring of your brain waves is going to become a thing to a way to help you meditate or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's the next step in sort of self-help.
Self-help, yep.
If you got your Fitbit, so you can follow along with your calorie burning and your steps and your heart rate and your blood pressure. You got that wearable, and then you got to wear your little helmet thing so you can track your brain waves and your mood and your this and your that. It'll be a wonderful cyborg future. Are you ready for it, Gonz?
No.
Not yet. Okay. Well, let's check in real quick with the Great Reset.
We need a great reset.
Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
Climate.
Climate. Why you got one of our new climate change jingles laying around?
Which one?
I don't know. We got like
we
two
have 5
or 3. Well, we have a couple today.
Yes,
but
we have a total of 5.
Okay, pick one, Gonz.
What I'm saying is the planet's on fire.
Climate change.
Climate change.
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction. How dare you?
Whoa,
edgy. You had to choose the
edgy,
not safe for work one, didn't you?
I don't know that's the one that is.
Okay. Yeah,
I didn't know. Sorry, I picked a random one.
We do need to get one of these. We need to take a look at your brain waves, Gonz, because I think you may have had a little glitch there for a second. All right, we're checking in over at CNBC.com here. The headline: Bill Gates and BlackRock are backing the startup behind hydro panels that make water out of thin air.
Magic.
And you're a normal sort of narrative believing individual, someone who's just sort of swimming through life, just trying to do their best, might read this headline and focus on the hydro panels that make water out of thin air. But of course, Canarians, you were triggered at the very beginning of the headline, which was Bill Gates and BlackRock.
Oh, the New World Order Illuminati card game. This would be massive. You could combine forces on this one.
Well, they are. BlackRock and Bill Gates, two of the, I would say, most responsible for the recent sort of new world order
they are the
economic takeover.
They're the leaders of the stakeholders.
That's right. They are primary stakeholders in the Great Reset.
With Bill Gates with
stakeholder capitalism.
Bill Gates
and it
with
goes
all
like
that
this.
Land.
Yes, the farmland, and of course BlackRock with the housing buy-up, right? Yeah. They're like solar panels, except instead of electricity, they produce water. Source Global's hydro panels create water out of thin air and bring it where it's most needed. CEO Cody Friesen invented the panels in 2014 at Arizona State University's Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, where he's on the faculty. A year later, he turned the science into Source Global. The startup's panels cost about $2,000 a piece. Quote, "We take sunlight and air, and we can produce perfect drinking water essentially anywhere on the planet," Friesen said. Quote, "And so we take water that has historically been probably humanity's greatest challenge and turn it into renewable resource that is perfect essentially everywhere. Source's hydro panels take in water vapor from the air and pack it into a form that's about 10,000 times more concentrated than in the atmosphere. Using the warmth of the sun, the system converts the molecules into liquid water, which is collected in a reservoir inside the panel and then released as pure water. By 2018, Friesen had installed an array of 40 hydro panels in Kenya, where members of the Samburu Girls Foundation faced daily danger on their journeys to find water. They now have their own water source. Quote, "We can make perfect water at your home, at your school, in your community in a way that is really bringing it into the 21st century," said Friesen. Perfect water, Gonz. Are you tired of all that imperfect water coming out of the ground?
If they're smart, they would market this to the preppers, because
I believe that is part of it. Because hold on just one second. Okay, verified. Your payment has been sent. I now have one coming to me right now.
Oh, you're buying one. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't have $2,000 to spend on a hydro panel. Source's hydro panels are installed in 52 countries, 450 separate projects. They're truly global, folks. The company has raised $150 million from investors, including Bill Gates's Breakthrough Energy Ventures, BlackRock, Duke Energy, and the Lightsmith Group. This type of technology is desperately needed in places like India. Talks about how India needs water. There's a domestic need as well. In the U.S., there are 1.5 million miles of lead pipes still in the ground, and about 750 water main breaks a day, according to Friesen. The business opportunity, he said, is enormous.
Talk about a great reset.
Right. I thought that last paragraph fit in nicely to the ongoing infrastructure issue with Biden.
Right.
That was a huge selling point for Biden was we're going to go replace all the lead pipes, all the pipes over there in where is it? I forget what it's called. What's the water place, the bad water town?
Michigan, somewhere Michigan.
Flint, Michigan. Thank you. Yeah. Flint was being sort of wielded as a weapon again by Biden, which of course fits because it was a weapon wielded by Obama as well. So I think that was an interesting connection. And as far as, the green new future, the great reset, why would we even need infrastructure if everybody has their own little, water generating panel thingy? I'm a little bit concerned with how aggressively they're trying to convince us that the water is so perfect. coming out of this thing.
Yeah, it is. And how much water does it produce?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned that it was perfect. In fact, you kind of keep mentioning that. And it's kind of a weird thing to say.
An amount that it produces per thing, or how long it takes, or all I heard was it's perfect. It's perfect water.
It's just perfect. Okay,
water.
Stop asking questions.
How
Whatever
much
the
water
question
does it make?
is,
Don't worry about it. It'll be perfect.
It's the perfect amount of water. I mean, how much more could you want?
Can it feed a village? Doesn't matter if it's perfect.
It's whatever the village needs. This is perfect. You know, and the funny thing about this is this idea is not new at all. There have been nomadic tribes in Mongolia that use this as their primary water source, not in such a high-techy type of way.
Yeah, what are you trying to say? That the Mongoloids are like Neanderthals? Are you being racist?
I don't know if you can say Mongoloids, Gonz, especially as a Japanese man. I think it has an extra sort of sting.
No.
Weren't the Mongols and the Japanese, the Mongols were like invading Japan across the
maybe. I don't know, but there's well, the genetic lineage all goes back. Doesn't it all the Asian people go back to the Mongoloid peoples? I don't know.
Mongoloid. Stop saying that word. I think you're thinking of Attila the Hun, the Mongols, when they took over. Yeah, apparently we all got a little bit of Attila in us. Okay, where was I?
We got on this
Mongoloid talk. Oh, great. Now I said it. I can't say that. No, so this idea that you can get water out of the air is very old. In Africa, they do it too. They very fine, very, very tight-knit, fine fishing nets. You can hang it up in the morning, and it collects water and drips down sort of thing. But that is the great reset, which is taking everything old and just kind of making it more expensive. And
and owning all the technology.
Making it, relying on technology. You've got the technocracy involved, and of course, it has to benefit stakeholders. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting. And I think that's it. I think we should go ahead and thank our own stakeholders, Gonz.
Oh, very good. Let's do that. Take a break.
It's break time!
Come on, take a break, folks. We're going to do just that. You may have noticed that we have no advertisements, affiliate codes, partnerships, nothing when it comes to corporate money. No sponsorships, no premium content. Although I think someday we could get away with premium content as long as there's no corporations involved. But anywho, the point is we're on the value for value model, which means that we are aggressively opposed to any form of monetization that includes even a drop of corporate money. And you know what? Look, I'm sure that, I will say PayPal, they take a little bit of our money, but they don't give us any money. I'll tell you what. So there's corporations in between us, but soon we may find a way to avoid that altogether. But we are fully supported by you, our producers, because you are people. Again, I am individually incredibly proud of every producer who keeps this show going, not just because they help me stay alive and the roof over my head and the head of Gonz and his children, but also it is a sort of personal point of responsibility. And when people exercise that responsibility, it just warms my heart. And the responsibility is to create an environment, create a world, be the world that does not require corporate tentacles to get quality news and news analysis, because it's that very all-encompassing, unavoidable, and a lot of times unhelpful system that has gotten us into all the trouble that we are in now.
Speaking of trouble, before you go on, Basil, real quick, just to make you feel better.
Okay, thank you.
There's a National Institute of Health article, The Origin of Japanese Race Based on Genetic Markers of Immunoglobulin. The Japanese population belongs basically to the northern Mongoloid group and is thus suggested to have originated in northern Asia. So there you go.
Okay.
This is a scientific paper using the word mongoloid.
Yeah.
And apparently I'm a descendant of a mongoloid, so you're okay.
Okay, that's great. I feel much better, and thank you for using your off time wisely when you're not speaking on the podcast. I appreciate that. Set it straight. Take that, cancelers. You may have just saved our entire career, Gonzo.
You know it. I'll spend the 5 minutes.
We did, just learn how big data, we've known it for a while, but big data being the driving force of advertisement, Facebook, Google, all those sort of monolithic spy agencies posing as technology companies, all benefit and profit from the harvesting of your information, and the sort of processing of that information into subtly, psychologically manipulating you to make you spend money you don't have on things you don't need, all for the benefit of the stakeholders. But not here, folks. It's all you all the time. We're on the value for value model. We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what happens on this show, either now, in the past, or in the future, you have a personal responsibility, I believe. I'm not, no buts about it now. I'm done tiptoeing around it. We all have a personal responsibility to support independent media, lest the tentacles come crawling in, that corporate sponsorships trying to scoop up the integrity of our independent news people. So that's why we're on the value for value model, and those who support the show are producers. And I want to start by letting you know, if you'd like to become a producer, head on over to patreon.com/ccnt, or even better, CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
Indeed. And Gonz, I think we should take a second and thank our executive producer one more time.
Executive producers.
That's right. The executive producers are those who go the extra mile, show the value, bring the value, and keep us going so generously. And our executive producer for today, you know him, you love him, it's Dustin H.
Thank you, Dustin H.
Indeed.
Appreciate it.
Dustin H comes in with $333.
Ooh.
Nixon. Illuminatus. And he sent a note here. He says, nothing I could do would be able to compensate you both for all the value you provide. Just as iron sharpens iron, so too have you sharpened me. Never stop fighting for the truth. Love you all. Well, thank you very much, Dustin H.
Thank you
as well.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yes, thank you, Dustin Hoffman. You're keeping us above water this episode.
Rain Man coming in.
That's right. And this, I believe, I'm doing a quick refresh just to make sure no surprises came in. Nope. Yep, Dustin H. He is our number one executive producer for today.
Number one.
Where'd you find this?
Indeed. Yeah. Okay. There you go. What's next, Gonz? That's right. Go to CanaryCry.Supply.com. It's a wonderful thank you campaign we have going on for those producers who commit to supporting us in the amount of $33 a month, which goes a long way to building a safety net for those times of the month when producership is low. And in return, we'll be sending you 4 shipments a year, 1 per quarter, filled with custom one-time manufacturing run Canary Cry news talk stuff, swag, merch, whatever you want to call it. Just get your hands on it, baby. We are our little elves are busy running around like crazy getting the supply drops ready to ship, which will be shipping in just a few days. My gosh. And I will say, this is the last day Today and tomorrow are the last days to sign up for the supply drop if you'd like to receive the Canary Cry, the first ever Canary Cry NFT. And not only could you receive that NFT, but you will get a cool little educational video from Gonz about the whole thing. So if you don't really understand it and you haven't really spent the time and don't know what even to search for, whatever, I think just Gonz's little video is worth your time and worth your commitment to producing the show. But you'll also get a very special, NFT that Gonz created, and it's cool. I want one. Gonz says I can't have one though. He says it's too rare. So there you go. Go to CanaryCry.Supply.com, baby. Let's go.
All right, we got some more people to thank here, starting with Jonathan B.
Jonathan B. coming in hot with $77.77, a whole fanny pack full of sevens.
Wow.
Yeah, and he added fees on there, too. Thank you very much, Jonathan B. And a note that says, wow, that Wednesday mix was really rattling some cages. I agree. I'm a huge fan. I think we are, I'm not going to say we've done it yet, Gonz, but we are stumbling our way through this crisis of the Wednesday jingle quite well, and I think we'll land somewhere that everybody can be happy with.
Hopefully. There's a lot going on.
I like it. Thank you, Jonathan B.
Thank you, Jonathan B. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Ghostronaut.
Ghostronaut. Oh, I get it. Ghostronaut comes in and supports the show for $11.69, and he does so on a monthly basis. He joined as a recurring producer. Thank you very much, Ghostronaut.
Appreciate that, Ghostronaut.
And we'll see some more stuff from Ghostronaut later as well. Thank you.
Very cool. All right, next up we have Morv.
Morv is on a 70-episode streak.
Oh, yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Woo.
Yep, comes in for 11.11 and a note that says, "My dudes, happy Wednesday."
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
That's right. Thank you, Morph.
Staying OG on that one. All right. Next up, we have Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch.
There he is. Sir JC is on an 85-episode streak.
Woo!
1001. Amen.
That's right. Comes in with the 1001 and a note. Gary, what day is it?
Again?
It is WMD.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Again, he says, as if every Wednesday was not filled with the producer segment of a screaming man. The note continues, hope you have a blessed week. Thank you very much, Sir JC.
Thank you, Sir JC. Next up, we have LX Protocol V2.
LX Protocol V2 producer bot is on a 13-episode streak.
13.
Comes in with a pocket full of 7s plus fees and a note. I guess everything is good. Keep up the good work. Is Wednesday, my dudes. Random jingles. Thanks.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Thank you very much, LX Protocol.
Thank you. Next up, we have Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, is on a 126-episode streak. Okay, thank you so much. Where was I? Comes in with a pocket full of 7s and a note. Yes, love the new Wednesday jingle, he says.
Wait,
yes.
Which new one?
Which one, indeed?
There are 3
we
new
at
ones.
We at least got 2 last episode.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's this new one.
Hey guys, know what day
Well,
it
that's
is?
not a new one anymore.
You don't think that's? Oh, that's okay. All right,
That's
fine.
not new anymore.
There's
Now,
this new one.
there's
It
the
is
John
Wednesday, my dudes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wednesday. Wednesday.
Oh, listen to those bubbles.
I think that I know the bubbles, right? Nice touch. All right, that concludes our list of financial producers who have come in to support the show in the amount of $777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. Nice elite group there, but thanks to Dustin, we're going to make it.
Yeah, thank you. All the producers
and
today.
everybody else. Everybody's great. But there's a few more producers who came in under the 777 cutoff, and we're going to thank them now, starting with Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Light of Judah, on a 71-episode streak.
Thank you, Sir James.
Next, we have Sir Casey the Shield Knight on a 136-episode streak.
Yes, they call him the streak. Fastest thing on 2 feet.
All hail the streak.
Wow. He is the streak. Next up, we've got Jackie Yu with a 43-episode streak.
Thank you, Jackie Yu.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule.
Next up, we got the Streak Sisters, starting with Gail M on a 102-episode streak.
Women rule.
And of course, we've got Veronica D on a 102-episode streak.
Women rule.
Thank you, ladies.
Indeed. We've got Runk Smash on a 15-episode streak, which means Runk Smash, something's happening. Supernova, I think.
Burning out his fuse out here. Hello.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
Indeed. Okay, let me just check one thing, because we did have a weird schedule today, and there's a chance that there might be some streakers that will have a problem with that. Oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
We can probably.
We'll be cool. We'll figure it out. If you
comes in normal time or something.
If you missed a streak because of our weird timing today, we'll talk it out. No problem. We did have somebody who just jumped in that I think we should thank, and that is producer Philip Yu.
Philip Yu. Thank you.
Yu. Yeah, it comes in with 33 plus fees. Illuminatus.
Very cool. Thank you.
And he has a note here.
Oh, great radio. You mumbling there.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to make sure this note is actually to be read or not to be read.
Right.
I'm not sure if it is to be read. He's talking about a calendar. Just want to be back on Discord to prove him wrong. LOL, but needs more time. So maybe the calendar sent. Yeah, I don't know. And he has an email here too. So anyways, thanks for producing the show, Philip. And maybe he sent it. No, he didn't. Okay. Well, we'll have a fun time talking later, Philip. Okay, that concludes our financial producers for this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, episode 464? Five. And thank you all for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message. That's right. Oh, it got me. Oh, I've been doing so good. Okay, go to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. On the right-hand side or the bottom of the page, you will see a green tab. Click on the green tab. You can leave us a message. Do whatever you want, man. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but just know if you leave us a message, we have full express permission to play it on the show, but we do not guarantee it. Gonz, who do we have leaving messages today?
Bernie.
Hello. This is Senator Bernie Sanders calling again to say I am very pleasantly surprised by the new Wednesday jingle. Though I dare not say it is better than the original Wednesday jingle. It is good. I am in support of the new Wednesday jingle. Also, my senior staffers and my junior staffers and AOC are all in support of the new Wednesday jingle. And also, I would like to say and congratulate Macho Man Randy Savage on returning from the dead. Congratulations. And I have acquired a meat stick from a local convenience store known as a Slim Jim, which I am now currently snapping into. And so thank you. And congratulations for the resurrection, Macho Man Randy Savage. And to you, Basil and Gonz, keep fighting against the top 1%. Thank you and think outside the cage.
Thank you.
It sounds
Bernie.
like that was samurai Bernie Sanders. He had kind of a samurai affectation there.
Towards the end,
maybe
started to transform.
Yeah, maybe he was.
Maybe he was
he's
eating some
spent
sushi.
some time in Japan recently when he's eating some sushi. Thank you very much, Bernie. I hope
Thank you, Bernie.
I hope everything's going well and your mittens are keeping you warm. And yes, we'll keep fighting the good fight over here at Commie Cry Radio. Okay, who's next?
We have a Modern Bible.
Hi, Canary Cry
Modern
listeners.
Bible study.
I would like to give a big shout out to Basil and Gonz for having such a wonderful show for us and a powerful message in the end. Here's a new challenge for this Canary Cry chat room. Are you ready for it? Let's see how many people can type "think outside the cage" right now. All right, while you're doing that, I wanted to say how much that message really does have a lot of meaning for me. To think outside the cage, whether it's a cage we have put up ourselves, have been forced into a cage, or even...
Oh no, what happened?
Oh no. Oh no, I was enjoying that.
Here we go. Sorry.
Okay.
Cage. Whether it's a cage we have put up ourselves, have been forced into a cage, or even signed up to be in that cage. This is something I'm learning about every day, that it doesn't matter which cage I'm in. I must think outside of it in order to have any hope of freedom. Faith in God is the only way to prepare you for any cage that you are put in. Give your burdens to the Almighty and trust in His plans for us. I pray you all have a beautiful day, and may your faith continue to stay strong in these challenging times. Bringing extra energy to your midweek with Basil and Gonz, and remember, think outside the cage.
Yay! Thank you very much, Modern Bible Study. What a wonderful exploration of the tagline.
Yeah,
Do you
very
remember?
good.
Do you remember when that tagline became?
I don't
extant?
remember when, but I do sort of remember the
Took
moment.
a little while. I don't think we had it in the first.
No, we didn't.
Few dozen episodes or so of the show.
Yeah.
Kind of developed after about 12 episodes of early Canary Cry Radio in 2012. So thank you very much, Modern Bible Study.
Yeah,
okay, who's
cool.
next?
We got a note here or a message from Matt H.
This is Mr. Mackey, and I just want to say that I think you guys are great, okay? And you do a good job.
Oh.
And the words that you say, I think they're good. And that new Wednesday jingle, I think it's good, okay? And that old Wednesday jingle, I think it's also good, okay? And all those people that are fighting, that's not good. That's bad. I think fighting's bad, okay? So, you shouldn't do it. And I want everybody to know that drugs are bad. You shouldn't do them because they're bad. But Canary Cry, I think it's good. You should listen to more because they're good. So everybody should remember that, drugs are bad, fighting's bad, and Canary Cry is good. Okay? Okay?
Okay. All right. Never thought we would get a call from Mr. Mackey, but thank you for speaking to us and bringing such a positive message.
Mr. Mackey? Oh, I must have pulled up the wrong character. I pulled up Mr. Garrison.
I think it's, I don't know, man. He said Mr. Mackey at the top.
Did he say Mr. Mackey at the top? Okay.
Said it at the top.
Well, it was Mr. Hanky? Mr. Hanky?
Mr. Hanky? No, that's his puppet.
Oh, that's his puppet. Okay, all right. His puppet was talking.
Mackey,
Mr. Garrison's the The man behind the puppet. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Who's
right.
Mr. Mackey? There is a Mr. Mackey. Anyways, thank you very much for all your messages, everybody. Appreciate it very much. And if anybody else would like to leave any message, you can leave it over at CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. There is a little green tab. Click on it.
I like the chat. Mr. Hanky was the Christmas poo.
See, this is good, Gonz, because we're not supposed to know anything about South Park because we're good Christian boys, and good Christian boys and girls don't watch South Park. I was definitely not allowed to watch South Park.
I will say there was a point at which it became too much, but my teens were filled with South Park. I'm sorry, I must be a bad person.
Teens, one of those. No, you were not. I mean, you weren't saved yet.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true too. Yes.
Of course, those with Jesus living in their hearts would never watch such a television show. Such twisted humor. Okay, there you go. Thank you all for your voice messages. And coming up soon here, YouTubers, you're going to have to find another place to watch the show. So go to CanaryCry.Party and pick another one of our outlets, just not Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Let's wake up first.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
And let's say goodbye to our YouTubers.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Go to Twitch, Rumble, Odysee, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You can find all those links at CanaryCry.Party as well.
Too hot for YouTube.
That's right.
YouTube. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Too hot for YouTube, guys.